Om Sang Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Namaste. Tonight we're going to begin our discussion of the Devi Gita, the song of the goddess. And the Devi Gita is a marvelous presentation of an anthology of classical philosophy. And that's why it's so touching to me, because Darshan Shastra, the philosophy of Sanatana Dharma, was probably one of the subjects that I enjoyed the most. Let's begin on page 3 with the introduction. Tarakasura, the Illuminator of Duality, performed a severe tapasya, a great penance. Now remember, Tara is the illumination, and Tara is the star, and Tara is the wife of Chandra, and Tara is the illuminator, and this Tara is the illuminator of the Asuras. Tarakasura is the name of a great demon who performed a severe tapasya, a great penance, and then Brahma came to him and said, "What boon do you desire? Choose for me some boon, and I will grant you your desire." And Tarakasura said, "I want to be immortal. I wish that I will never die." And Brahma replied, "That's impossible. Nothing can remain forever. Everything born must die at some time or other. Choose another boon." And Tarakasura thought for a moment and then said, "Well, if I have to die, then I want my death to occur only at the hands of the son of Shiva." And Brahma said, "Tatastu, I will give you that boon." So Tarakasura, the Illuminator of Duality, conquered the entire earth and made everyone on earth servants of the Illuminator of Duality. Everywhere we went, we were illuminating duality. And we proclaimed proudly, "Look at the duality that surrounds me." He then marched straight up to the heavens and sat down on the throne of Indra. He threw all the gods and goddesses out of heaven and became Lord of the 3 worlds. Then he ordered, "I want everyone to serve the Illuminator of Duality," which we are all proudly doing. "No one will worship the gods, just a few hippies that go to the top of a mountain in Devi Mandir. Everybody else stay down on the flats, get up in the morning and go to work, come back at night, pop open a cold one and watch some TV. No one will worship the gods. Don't waste time meditating, just serve me. I will be the only one worshipped in the 3 worlds." At this news, the gods became extremely depressed. And in that dejected state, they asked one another, "What are we going to do about this? We need the son of Shiva in order to get rid of this wicked Asura. All of this is overwhelming. How are we going to combat such a state of affairs?" Then the gods and Brahmins, rishis and munis all went to the Devi Mandir and began to perform various forms of tapasya to request the Divine Mother to make her presence manifest. They recited hymns to the goddess and sang the stories of her manifestations. They performed the fire sacrifices and did yoga asana and pranayam and mudras and kriyas and japa and tapa. And in every way they invoked the Divine Mother. They propitiated her and begged her to please make her presence manifest. Mom, please. I mean, we're your kids. If you won't do it for us, then who are you going to do it for? When they lost themselves in the ecstasy of divine devotion, Mother came and spoke to them. She said, "What is it that you want?" "Oh, Mother, Tarakasura, the Illuminator of Duality, has won the boon that only the son of Shiva can destroy him. With the strength of this boon, he has been working evil on the earth and has made every everyone a servant of duality. Therefore, we want you to come and manifest yourself in an embodied form. Please, Mother, marry with Shiva again and give us the son that will lead the armies of divinity to be victorious in battle. So this story is taking place after Sati Devi had left her body at Dakshi's yajna. Shiva didn't have a wife. Shiva became a complete yogi, started meditating in deep, deep meditation for yugas together. And so he didn't have any inclination to have a wife, let alone a child. So here's Tarakasura saying, okay, well, if I've got to die, let Shiva renounce his renunciation. Let him give up his vairagya. Let him give up and be compassionately inspired to get married again. Ah, fat chance. And then let the Divine Mother, who has left her body, let her manifest, and let her come and inspire Shiva to give his seed so he can have a son, and then we'll talk about my death. So the god said, Mom, hey, we can't do it without you. You've got to come back into a body. And you got to marry with Shiva. And you got to give us the son that's going to lead the armies of divinity to victory. Mother said, Tatastu, Evamastu, I accept and I will try to fulfill your wish. I will take birth in the home of Himalayas. And then I will do tapasya in order to secure Shiva's blessing. If he wills, I will marry him. And when Shiva will accept me as his wife, we will bring forth the son that will lead the armies of divinity to become victorious in battle. Hearing this news, Himalaya began to cry, Mother, what have I done to deserve the honor of having you take birth in my home? How shall I act when I become the father of the Divine Mother? Hey, what does a father of a Divine Mother do? Obviously, it's got to be something different than a father of anybody, any other lady would do. How shall I act? How shall my home be when the Divine Mother takes birth with him? What kind of pad do you want to crash in? What shall be my tapasya? What shall I do to purify myself? What shall be my way of life? What shall be my words? What shall be my actions? Hey, how should I live in presence of the Divine Mother as my daughter? How can I love you purely so that your mission can be fulfilled? Please explain this to me. And with these questions of Himalaya, the teachings of the Devi Gita begin. It's really an important document. It's really an anthology of the philosophies and the sadhanas of the worship of the Divine Mother. Gita means a song. Devi is the goddess, the song of the Divine Mother goddess. The Devi Gita is comprised of 12 chapters included within the 7th skanda or book of the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam from chapters 29 through 40, and it teaches a doctrine of holistic spirituality. It doesn't say do this yoga and do that yoga. It doesn't say do this practice and do that practice. It teaches us about holistic spirituality, the whole way of life for a spiritual being. Not just about practices, not just about philosophy, not just about history, not just about grammar. It doesn't teach us just pujas. It doesn't say just sit by the home of fire. It teaches us how to live a spiritual life. All the various philosophies are links in the chain to higher understanding. All the forms of yoga are united in the union with the Supreme. Without wisdom, one cannot produce right actions. Without devotion, one cannot meditate. All yogas, all wisdom, all paths comprise a harmony of divine insight. Devi Gita teaches both the worship of the deity with form and the meditation on the cosmic divinity beyond form and knowledge. It is a compendium of spiritual disciplines, constantly weaving its tapestry of harmony so that all actions in life become expressions of the longing for the highest attainment. Only two possibilities exist in any translation: that the translator is true to the original or true to the translation. Either the Sanskrit will be faithfully and correctly reported, or the English. I have chosen the Sanskrit because I am hopeful that this work will have greater usage for sincere students who, in addition to learning the philosophy of the goddess, are also interested in studying her native language. It is my opinion that the more we love someone or something, the greater is our desire to learn about it. That is, devotion can never be separated from wisdom. This is clearly indicated in the present text as well. Therefore, as we fall deeper and deeper in love with the Divine Mother Goddess, it becomes more and more important for us to study her native language, and for this reason, in some places in the translation of this text, the English may seem a little clumsy, to say the least. I want to go on record as saying that this is not solely because I am completely illiterate and don't know proper English syntax, but rather that I may be excused, for this attempt is to follow as closely as possible the word order from the original Sanskrit. The reader will thus find some verses beginning with long prepositional phrases and others with the subject and especially the verb coming at the end of the sentence. Please excuse this cumbersome technique, but it is my hope that the students of Sanskrit can use this as a critical grammar text and maybe even learn to chant the original Sanskrit with understanding, in addition to its tremendous importance as an exposition of the philosophy of the goddess. I would like to acknowledge loving seva by Swami Vitalananda, Janardanananda, and excellent suggestions by Klaus and the entire Devi Mandir family. Especially I bow to Sri Ma, who provided the inspiration for this and other spiritual endeavors, which allow me to make a contribution to mankind's expression of the ultimate love for God. I hope that this work will be finished in such a way as to make you all proud of your contributions, as I am proud to have such friends and associates as yourselves. Namaste to you all. Swami Satyananda Saraswati, Devi Mandir, 1991. We're going a little bit back in the history in the chronology of Swami's translations. Do we have any questions about the introduction to the text? Yes, please.
Swamiji, on page 1, you say that the gods and Brahmins perform fire sacrifice, yogasans and pranayam, and mudras and kriyas. What are these kriyas, Swamiji? And do we have any kriyas in our tradition?
Absolutely, we have several kriyas. Kriya means any action. So you do have several actions. A kriya could be, one of the great kriyas that we always practice is kriya yoga, which is also known as bhuta shuddhi. We also have a kriya in bhutapsarpan, when we throw flowers or place flower petals in various directions, or black sesame seeds. This is a kriya. We have a kriya in Agamarsham where we take the water into our, clean our Nasiputra and take the water into the Ira and clean the Agya Chakra and expel the water from the Pingala. These are all kriyas. But in the broadest sense, every divinely contemplated activity is a kriya. So everything you do to bring yourself closer to God is a kriya. It's an action. A divinely contemplated, motivated, defined action, which we are performing exclusively for the purpose of demonstrating our love for God. Oh, that's the broader definition. And then throughout the puja, there are a number of activities that are defined. Are there other questions?
Question from Nanda from San Jose.
Namaste, Nandara.
Namaste Swamiji, thank you for this class. Can we interpret the birth of the goddess to Himalaya as the birth of the divinity within each sadhak as we do sadhana?
Absolutely. Nanda, the Himalayas are here, and the goddess takes birth in the Muladhara as the Kundalini Shakti. Now she's going to rise up. She doesn't really take birth, she's always been there. She just becomes manifest. And that's what we're calling the process of taking birth. We become cognizant of her. We become aware of her. We become conscious of her presence. And then we make her take the journey and hike all the way up the Himalayas through these kriyas by pulling on her, the rope, pulling her all the way up the Himalayas and let her scale the mountain until she finds Shiva and marries him in the Sahasra. So this is our journey, and this is our allegory, and this is what this book is going to teach us as we proceed.
Another question from Nanda. Why should a sadhak chant the Devi Gita?
Nanda, when we study any scripture, we get inspiration, we get information, we get to perform practice of pranayama and understanding how to integrate these philosophies and these experiences, this history into our own lives, and thereby pattern our own lives more closely in accordance with the examples set by the rishis. So every time we recite a scripture, whether it be Devi Gita or Bhagavad Gita or Chandi or any other scripture, we have satsang with all the characters of the story. Now here in this satsang, we get inspiration, we make our heart a mirror, we get to perform asana, pranayama, etc., so that we are extricated from that material contemplation, or from all the conflict and confusion of that the Illuminator of Duality provides for us. It gives us rest and repose. It gives us respite. It gives us a place of refuge. Take refuge in the scriptures and you'll never go wrong. You always have satsang.
Sadhana is asking a question. I would like to understand the historical placement of the Devi Gita better. Can Swamiji please give some background? Thank you.
Yes, the Devi Gita comes from the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam. And the Devi Bhagavatam is let's go to the death of Parikshit at the end of the Mahabharata war. Remember, Parikshit put the snake around Rishi Shringa's neck. And Rishi Shringa's child came home and saw his father in deep meditation wearing a garland of a snake, a dead snake. And he said, who did this heinous activity? This disrespect to the Brahmins, this disrespect to the Rishis is a disrespect to the Sanatana Dharma. I curse that individual. He will die by snake bite within 7 days. And the Rishi's young son pronounced the curse. Now remember, Parikshit was after the Pandavas had won the Mahabharata war, he was the grandson that was put on the throne. So this is after the the Bhagavad Gita. This is after the Mahabharata. Now, Parikshit went to all the rishis and munis and said, I've been cursed to die by snake bite within 7 days. What should I do? And they decided the best thing to do was to build a tall tower and place soldiers all around it. On top of the tower, there'll be a platform. We're going to take every precaution so that no snake can get up the top of the tower. You are well protected, but just in case we're not successful, listen to the Srimad Bhagavatam, the stories of the incarnations of Vishnu. And if you have to go in the process in the bhava of satsang. So Parikshit ordered the tower built, and he sat on top with Shukdev, and all the rishis and munis came and they listened to this discourse of Srimad Bhagavatam. On the 7th day, the sun was just setting into the western horizon, and the king of snakes, Taksha, took on the form of an old Brahmin priest. And he came to the foot of the tower. And he said, I've been praying for the welfare of the king, and I want to give him some prasad from my worship. The captain of the guard said, no one goes up. The Brahmin, the Taksha, the king of snakes in the form of that Brahmin disguise, handed the captain of the guard a platter of fruit. Said, even if we can't go up, at least give the king the prasad of our worship. No one wants to be denied the consecrated offering from a Brahmin. Especially, I've been praying for him for so long. Let him at least share this prasad. Captain of the guard said, okay. Took the basket of fruit. Went to the top of the tower. The king was just listening to the last shlokas of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And the captain of the guard said, "O king, one Brahmin has been praying for your welfare for the last 7 days, and he wants you to have this prasad." And the king said, "I'm not hungry. Please distribute the prasad to everybody else." Everybody took a piece of fruit, and there was one apple left. And the prime minister said, "O king, it would be an insult to the Brahmins if you don't accept at least one little piece from one fruit from the basket of consecrated offering, the prasad from the worship of this holy Brahmin." The king said, "Okay, give me the apple." He took the apple and cut into it and cut out one little tiny sliver of apple within which he saw a little black spot. And the black spot started growing, got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it became a worm. And then the worm got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until it became a snake. And the snake got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it was the king of snakes, Taksha, and he bit the king, and he died right there on the spot. Well, Parikshit's son was in the womb, and his name was Janamejai. And Janamejai took birth, and he grew up with a team of advisors administrating the kingdom on his behalf. And when he was of age to take over responsibilities himself, he said to the ministers, "Ministers, tell me about my father. I never met him. How did my father die?" "Well, king, your father was cursed by a snake, and he died by snake bite. And Janamejai said, now Parikshit was the last king of Kali Yuga. Of Dwapara Yuga. And Janamejai was the first king of Kali Yuga. Janamejai said, the snakes killed my father. I declare war on snakes. I'm declaring the great Sarp Yajna. I want all my soldiers everywhere to pursue all the snakes on the earth and bring them to my Havan Kund, and we're going to throw them into the fire. The great snake sacrifice. The great Sarp Yajna. In fact, in Uttarkashi, we visited the Havan Kund, where that Sarp Yajna took place. It's really quite a scene. It's just below Kedarnath, and you look up the mountain towards Kedarnath, and you look down to the plains, and you can see forever. And this Havan Kund is about twice the size of our Havan Kund in the Devi Mandir, and it was there that Parikshit sat. And while the Brahmins recited the mantras, and his soldiers pursued snakes all over the earth and brought all the snakes they found and threw them in the fire. And Taksha, the king of snakes, took off in fear and fright, and he went and hid. And Garud, Vishnu's Vahan, the great golden divine eagle, pursued him. And Taksha fled in all directions, and wherever he went, Garuda followed behind. And finally, Taksha went to the ashram of Manasa Devi. Manasa Devi was doing tapasya, and he said, Mother, please, I take refuge in you. Save me. It's not appropriate to destroy an entire race of beings because of what destiny had declared. The rishi cursed the king. That's why he died. It wasn't because of me. It wasn't my fault that he died. I was merely the instrument of destiny. You must protect me, and you must protect the rest of the snakes. Manasa Devi was the wife of Jarakaru, who was a great rishi. Jarakaru was off doing tapasya. But she had one young son named Astik Muni. She called Astik. She said, Astik Muni, please, do one seva for me. Young son said, what is it, mother? Manasa Devi replied, Taksha, the king of snakes, has taken refuge in our ashram. Gurud and Janamejai and all the armies of the king are trying to destroy the entire nation of snakes. I want you to stop this yajna. Astik Muni said, yes, mother. And he went to Uttarkashi, to where the great snake sacrifice was in progress. When Astik Muni came to the Yajna Kund, where Janamejai was sitting with all the Brahmin priests chanting the mantras, he was radiating with the radiance, with the aura of purity and clarity and the sincerity of his devotion. And Janamejai rose from his asana and he bowed down to the Brahmin and he said, oh Brahmin priest, I know you have come to bless me. Please, what dakshina would you like from me? I will give you whatever you wish. And Astik Muni said, thank you, my king. I wish for you to stop this yajna. The king said, wait, how can I stop this yajna? It is my sankalpa. It is my vow to destroy all all those who offended me by slaying my father. I have taken the vow to destroy all the snakes on this earth. And Astik Muni said, that's precisely what I want you to stop doing. And Janamejaya said, well, how will my vow be fulfilled? And Astik Muni said, sit down and listen to the recitation of the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam and listen to the Devi Gita, and your sankalpa will be fulfilled with dakshina. And that's where the Devi Gita comes from. The recitation of the Devi Gita was performed, Janamejaya was liberated, the snakes were saved, and it's all due to Astik Muni, the son of Jaratkaru and Manasadevi. So this Srimad Devi Bhagavatam comes after the Srimad Bhagavatam and after the Bhagavad Gita. However, many verses in the Devi Gita come directly from the Upanishads. So while they are placed in the context of this story, it is still Vedic knowledge. Now remember, in the original demarcation of the Vedas were broken up into 4 parts. First, they were divided into the Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda, the 4 Vedas, or 4 books of Veda. Then each of the 4 parts was again divided into 4 parts. There was Samhita, the hymns. There was Brahmana, the proclamations or the padotis, the hows and whys, and the systems of worship. How do you perform which system of worship at which time? The Aranyak. The Aranyak is the stories. This king was meditating in the forest, Aranyak. This rishi went to the forest, Aranyak. The stories of the kings and the rishis and how this knowledge was used, and Upanishad, otherwise known as Vedanta, the ultimate, the epitome of the wisdom, distilled knowledge, the philosophy. So now here in the Vedas we had hymns, we had priestly text, how do you do which puja, when, we had storybooks, and we had philosophy books. These were the 4 parts of the Vedas. Now what happened in the Puranas, we took all the 4 separate parts and amalgamated them, and synthesized them, and wove them together, and we told the story of the king who went to the forest and met this rishi. King was having a problem, so the problem was solved by doing this puja, according to this way. During the puja, we sang these hymns, and the king realized this philosophy. Went back to his kingdom and administered his kingdom in accordance with this philosophy, and everybody grew and prospered. That was the Puranas. The epics took one more step, and they added history and mythology, the stories of Ram, the stories of Krishna, the stories of the great histories and applications of this knowledge, how this philosophy permeated the entire thread of Indian history. And those became the epics, and those were the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, and those were distilled into the Bhagavatams. So now in the Bhagavatam we have history, literature, philosophy. We have the story, and we have the priestly text. We have songs, and we have philosophy, all in one volume. And that's what we're going to get in our study of the Devi Gita, and that's a little bit about its origin and where its context is in the place of history. Sorry for the lengthy digression.
Swamiji, another question from Nanda. Is the Navarna mantra the mool mantra of this text?
No, it is not. It is not. We're going to find some other mool mantras of this text. The Marna mantra is definitely the mool mantra of the Chandi, but it is not the mool mantra of the Devi Gita. In fact, the mool mantra of the Devi Gita does have 9 syllables, but we'll get to it in the text, and I don't want to spoil the suspense.
A question from Kumari.
Yes, Kumari, Mom.
Does the Devi Gita make up a song that represents all the divine mothers and goddesses?
Well, it is definitely symbolic of all the Divine Mother philosophies wherever you'll find Divine Mother worship. But more than that, this song synthesizes it synthesizes a history of Indian philosophy, which makes it so succinct. It makes it so beautiful, this doctrine of holistic spirituality, that each of these philosophies are not separate in themselves. They are all parts of one philosophy, of one path. Each of the yogas are not separate in themselves. They are all part and parcel of one another. If you talk about Dhyan, Gyan, Bhakti, and Karma, if you talk about the path of meditation, the path of wisdom, the path of devotion, or the path of action, they are not separate in any way. They are constituent parts of one holistic application of our lives, surrender of our lives to God. And this is applicable to every form of worship of the Divine Mother, without doubt.
Ananda wants to know if you can speak about Manasa Devi. She says, I only know that Ma does a special puja for her during certain months.
Manasa Devi always is worshipped on Rishi Panchami and Nag Panchami. So on the 5th day of every fortnight, there's a special puja for Manasa Devi and for the Ashtanagavyo, for the 8 forms of the snakes. The Manasa Devi also became, especially in the northeast of India, she became known as the goddess of fertility. So many people, because the snakes represent energy, Manasa was the queen of the snakes. She saved the snakes, she saved the energy. Many women desiring to become pregnant will do worship to Manasa Devi. She's worshipped on the 5th day. She is the Manas. She's got the mind of the universal mind of motherhood. So she saves all the energies, and the energy, the Ashtanagavyo, those 8 forms of snakes represent 8 forms of Kundalini, which come, the Ashta Siddhi. They manifest themselves in 8 types of attainments, specific attainments. So here are 8 forms of energy, which manifest in 8 forms of attainments, which are presided over by the mind of Mother, which is saving the energy, conserving energy. And her son's name is Astik, who is continuously persevering self-realization. Astikyam is that relentless pursuit of self-realization. There is only one laksha, there's only one goal, there is only one dedication of his life, and that is God. There is not a second. No second agenda in the mind of Astik Muni.
Another question from Nanda. The Sankalpa of Janamaya Jaya question. Under what circumstances is it appropriate to break one's sankalpa? Thank you, Swamiji.
Nanda, he didn't break the sankalpa, he altered the sankalpa at the request of the Brahmins. So when a greater power of wisdom comes and says, alter the sankalpa, hingsayam duyateyascha, who abhors violence in every form, sada charana tatvara, who practices harmonious and truthful behavior in every circumstance, Vedago pratima sevi, who loves wisdom, who respects all teachers of wisdom, who practices a form of one-pointed meditation, sa Hindu mukha sabdava, such a one may be said to be Hindu. You are not behaving like a Hindu and exterminating an entire race for the sin of one. This is in deference to our concept of Dharma. This is deleterious to the effects of the planet. And if you exterminate all the energies from the planet, who is going to be inspired to move in accordance with Dharma? Therefore, the Brahmins have given them wisdom and said, alter your sankalpa. Now, if your guru comes to you and says, alter your sankalpa, you are absolved from all wrongdoing. It is your guru's responsibility. Now, if your dog or cat came and said, alter your sankalpa, it is your duty to say, wait, I presume I have greater discrimination from my dog than my cat. And therefore, I'm going to ask my guru, before I take the sankalpa, is this an appropriate sankalpa to take or not? Rather than reciting an emotional sankalpa, which causes difficulties for others. This is the difference, Nanda.
Swamiji, Sadhana is asking, traditionally, was the Devi Gita sung as a song or chanted?
Sadhuma, there are as many modes of pronunciation and recitation as there are sadhus. Some people sing it as a song, some people recite it as a text, some people whip right through it like we do the Chandipat. It just depends on which sadhu you study with. I prefer that our family learns every method of pronunciation and choose the one that's appropriate for you according to your time, place, and circumstance. If you want to recite the entire Devi Gita, it should take you at a good clip, it'll take you 2 hours. Now, if you want to sing the Devi Gita very slowly and melodically, it could take you 6 or 8 or 10 hours. Now, if you want to sit there for 6 or 8 or 10 hours and you have the time to spend and you have the capacity to sit, then please don't have any hesitation on my account. I will try to teach you tunes to go with it. Most of it is written in Anushtup Chanda. The others will be very familiar to you. In chapter 8, there's some part, some blank verse, like we find in chapters 3 and 4 of the Rudra Stadhyaya. There are a few shlokas apart. The rest is basic Anushtup Chanda. With the exception of the verses in Trishtup, you'll understand, you'll recognize some of the other chandas that come to us from the Devi Atharvashirsham, from the Devi Upanishad, from the Ganesha Atharvashirsham. You'll recognize other chandas as they pop up. There are not many of them.
Question from Usha from Canada.
Namaste, Ushama.
Namaste, Swamiji. Does the Devi Gita compare to the Uddhava Gita? Uddhav Gita?
No, it's a different text entirely. It is, and all the Gitas have a common thread through them. They are an exposition of a synthesis of philosophies. However, the Devi Gita is really unique in that it really takes us from Nyaya to Vaisheshika to Shanka to Yoga to Uttarimamsha and Purvamimamsha. It goes through the 6 classical systems and it does so admirably well. And I haven't found that in any other text. That's why it's so endearing to me. Well, if we've exhausted all of our questions, I presume that we should begin the recitation of our Sanskrit, and we'll begin with the Devata Pranam and our meditations. Sriman Mahaganadipatake Namaha, Lakshmi Narayanabhyam Namaha, Uma Bhakeshwarabhyam Namaha, Mani Hiranyagarbhabhyam Namaha, Sachi Purandarabhyam Namaha, Mata Pitribhyam Namaha, Ishta Devatabhyam Namaha, Kula Devatabhyam Namaha, Grama Devatabhyam Namaha, Vastu Devatabhyam Namaha, Sthana Devatabhyam Namaha, Sarvebhyo Devebhyo Namaha, Sarvebhyo Brahmanebhyo Namaha. Karkam Chakradeshu Java, Parikam Chulamasaning Sira, Sankam Sandada Tingri, Sri Nainam Tarvangava Shabrikam, Nilas Madhyuti Masha Pava, Dasakam Sede Ma Kalikam, Yamaska Swabitero, Kamala Joam, Tumadavaikam. Akshatratmana Shudeshu, Kudisam Patandanaskandikam, Dandam Sastina Singh Chachama, Chamajankam Sravachanam, Sulam Pasu Sudachita, Tadatingas Vidya Srandanam, Sede Sri Ripamadini, Niyamalachim Surajastitam, Ganta Sulakalani Sanka, Musale Shakundan Sayakam, Asab Jadir Tadating Kalamka, Vilasachitam Shatuya Prabham, Gauri De Asamupabam, Tri Jagatam Adara Maha, Purva Matra Saraswatim, Anubache Shumbadi Joykardinim, Yachandi Madhavaitavadi Joykardamani, Yamadi Sambudini, Yadhumreshana Chanamunda Matani, Yadratri Chasani, Sati Sumani Sumadai Chandamani, Yasidatri Para, Sadevi Nakoti Murti, Sajitama Patubisheshwari, Omati Jyoti Jyoti Rami Swa, Surya Jyoti Jyoti Surya Swa, Agnivacha Jyoti Vacha Swa, Surya Vacha Jyoti Vacha Swa, Jyoti Surya Surya Jyoti Swa, Omati Jyoti Ravi Jyoti Chandra Jyoti Stadevacha, Jyoti Tamutamo Devi Devo Ayam Pratigritam, Esha Devo Mein Ring Ring Chamundari Viche. Om Vanaspati Rasopano, Ganga Kaji, Ganga Uttama, Agreya Hasara Devanam, Dukovaya Pratigrita, Estupa, Om Ring Ring Chamunda Keviche. Om Vayo Kritinam, Vayo Sirishu, Vayo Divyatriche, Vayo Da, Vayo Suti, Pradisha Sadmata. Om Adi Devata, Patu Devata, Surya Devata, Chandrama Devata, Asuro Devata, Rudra Devata, Aditya Devata, Maruta Devata, Vishnu Devata, Riyasvata Devata, Indra Devata, Varuna Devata. Om Guru Basva, Tata Hitur Parinyam, Bargo Deva Shri Nakiti Yokana Pratudvaya. Om Buva, Om Sva, Om Aha, Om Janaha, Om Tava, Om Satya. Om Datsa Vitur Parinyam, Bargo Deva Shri Nakiti Yokana Pratudvaya. Om Apu Jyotir Samritam, Ramapur Bhuvasvaram. Om Mali Makamake, Sarvati Surubini, Chaturbanga Srina Stats, Tasman, Yestididapava. Om Megnatur Malika, Prinavida Chidre, Japare Chasvidarta, Prasid Mahasiddhake. Om Akshamala Dipakaye, Sutadinde Hidegi, Etikantapashpayam Adityanikam Jaydevyam Namaha. Etikantapashpayam Sivadi Panchadevatabhyam Namaha. Etikantapashpayam Indradi Dasanikpalevyam Namaha. Etikantapashpayam Matsyadi Dasavatarevyam Namaha. Etikantapashpayam Prajapataye Namaha. Etikantapashpayam Namo Narayanaya Namaha. Etikantapashpayam Sarvebhyo Devebhyo Namaha. Etikantapashpayam Sarvabhyo Devebhyo Namaha. Etikantapashpayam Sri Gurve Namaha. Etikantapashpayam Brahmadevyo Namaha. Let's go back and translate for a few minutes. We bow to the respected great Lord of wisdom. You're always first, Ganesh. We bow to Lakshmi and Narayan, the goal of all existence and the perceiver of all. We bow to Uma and Maheshwar, she who protects existence and the great consciousness, or seer of all. We bow to Bani and Hiranyagarbha, Saraswati and Brahma, who create the cosmic existence. We bow to Sachi and Purandara, the Indra and his wife, who preside over all that is divine. We bow to the mothers and fathers. We bow to the chosen deity of worship. We bow to the family deity of worship. We bow to the village deity of worship. We bow to the particular household deity of worship. We bow to the established deity of worship. We bow to all the gods. We bow to all the knowers of divinity. Bearing in her 10 hands the sword of worship, the discus of revolving time, the club of articulation. That means every time you chant a mantra, you recite a mantra, you hit another Ashura over the head with a club. The bow of determination, the iron bar of restraint, the pike of attention, the sling or the net of unity, the head of egotism and the conch of vibrations. She has 3 eyes and displays ornaments on all her limbs, shining like a blue gem. She has 10 faces and feet. I worship that great remover of darkness, whom the lotus-born creative capacity praised in order to slay too much and too little when the supreme consciousness was in sleep. Mahakali. She with the beautiful face, the destroyer of the great ego, is seated upon the lotus of peace. In her hand she holds the rosary of alphabets, that's your mala, the battle axe of good actions, the club of articulation. He gets around, bonk. The arrow of speech, the thunderbolt of illumination, the lotus of peace, the bow of determination, the water pot of purification, the staff of discipline, energy, the sword of worship, the shield of faith, the conch of vibrations, the bell of continuous tone, the wine cup of joy, the pike of concentration, the net of unity, and the discus of revolving time, named excellent intuitive vision. I worship that great goddess of true wealth. Bearing in her 10 lotus hands the bell of continuous tone, the pike of concentration, the plow, sowing the seeds of the way of truth to wisdom. That's quite a plow there. It just sows the seeds of Dharma. The conch of vibrations, the pestle of refinement, the discus of revolving time, the bow of determination, the arrow of speech, whose radiance is like the moon in autumn, whose appearance is most beautiful, who is manifested from the body of Shiva, who is rays of light, and is the support of the 3 worlds, that great goddess of all-pervading knowledge, who destroyed self-conceit and other thoughts. I worship that Chandi, who slays the negativities of too much and too little and other thoughts, who is the destroyer of the great ego and the vanquisher of sinful eyes, passion and anger and the seat of desire, the energy which tears asunder self-conceit and self-deprecation, the grantor of the highest attainment of perfection. May that goddess, who is represented by 90 million divine images, of which we are pale reflections, the supreme Lord of the universe, remain close and protect me. Om, the divine fire is the light, and the light is the divine fire. I am one with God. The light of wisdom is the light, and the light is the light of wisdom. I am one with God. The divine fire is the offering, and the light is the offering. I am one with God. The light of wisdom is the offering, and the light is the light of wisdom. I am one with God. And once you know that the light is the light of wisdom, and I am one with God, Baki Bakawash. Om, the divine fire is the light of wisdom is the light of devotion is the light as well. The light of the highest bliss, O Goddess, is in the light which we offer, the light which we request you to accept with the offering of light. Take my light. And make all the lights add to each other and grow into one big light. Here, let's put another board up. O spirit of the forest, from you is produced the most excellent of scents, the scent most pleasing to all the gods. That scent we request you to accept with the offering of fragrant scent. Om, earth is a reservoir of nectar. All vegetation is a reservoir of nectar. The divine atmosphere is a reservoir of nectar, and also above. May all perceptions shine forth with the sweet taste of nectar for us. Om, the divine fire, the light of purity is the shining God. The wind is the shining God. The sun, the light of wisdom, is the shining God. The moon, the Lord of devotion, is the shining God. The protectors of the wealth are the shining gods. The relievers of sufferings are the shining gods. The sons of the light are the shining gods. The emancipated seers, the moderates are the shining gods. The universal shining gods are the shining gods. The guru of the gods is the shining gods. The ruler of the gods is the shining God. The Lord of waters is the shining gods. May all the gods shine for us. Shine on me. Only infinite beyond conception, the gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body. We meditate upon that light of wisdom, which is the supreme wealth of the gods. May it grant to us increase in our meditation. Om, the gross body, Om, the subtle body, Om, the causal body of existence, Om, the great body of existence, Om, the body of knowledge, Om, the body of light, Om, the body of truth. Om, we meditate upon that light of wisdom, which is the supreme wealth of the gods. What else do you want to meditate upon? Why meditate upon something lesser than the light of wisdom, which is the supreme wealth of the gods? May it grant to us increase in our meditations. May the divine waters, luminous with the nectar of immortality of supreme divinity, fill the earth, the atmosphere, and the heavens, everywhere. O my rosary, the great measurement of consciousness, containing all energy within as your intrinsic nature, give to me the attainment of your perfection, fulfilling the four objectives of life: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. The highest ideal of perfection, the resources necessary to achieve that ideal, the fulfillment or satiation of all desires, and self-realization, otherwise known as liberation. Om Rosary, you please remove all obstacles. I hold you in my right hand. At the time of recitation, be pleased with me. Allow me to attain the highest perfection. Om Rosary of Rudraksha seeds, my Lord, give to me excellent attainment. Give to me, give to me. Illuminate the meanings of all mantras. Illuminate, illuminate. Fashion me with all excellent attainments. Fashion me, fashion me. I am one with God. With these scented flowers, we bow to the Lord of wisdom, Lord of the multitudes. Thank you, Ganesh, for being first and foremost in every worship. With these scented flowers, we bow to the sun, the light of wisdom, along with the 9 planets. With these scented flowers, we bow to Shiva, the consciousness of infinite goodness, along with the 5 primary deities. Panchadevata will be worshipped and acknowledged in every performance, in every ceremony of worship. Shiva, Shakti, Vishnu, Ganesh, and Surya, they will all be present. With these scented flowers, we bow to Indra, the ruler of the pure, along with the 10 protectors of the 10 directions. flowers only bow to Vishnu, the fish, along with the 10 incarnations he assumed. With these scented flowers only bow to the Lord of all created beings. With these scented flowers only bow to the perfect perception of consciousness. With these scented flowers only bow to all the gods. With these scented flowers only bow to all the goddesses. With these scented flowers only bow to the Guru. With these scented flowers we bow to all the knowers of wisdom. And that's what we want to do. That's our worship. That's our humility. That's our love. That's our devotion. Here we go. We're bowing to you with all the energy of my conscious being. I bow to the divinity which is represented me from my heart. Namaste. Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste.